This is one thing when it comes to the Leafs that I've always been a little bit skeptical of, but I've also wanted them to try it as well. Now, I know you could make the argument that they've tried William Nylander at center before, and you would be right about that, kind of. So, last year, they kind of did try it, because essentially, it was Brad Trevling's idea, which I understand, right? Like, the Leafs have a lack of depth at center. I mean, when you're playing David Kampf on the third line, that to me is something that, if you're following this channel, I have pointed to several times in my video as a weakness for the Maple Leafs, right? Like, this is just something that in my opinion, they're going to struggle with. But if you were able to put William Nylander on the second line, you'd have Matthews, Nylander, and then John Tavares down the middle. I understand the criticisms of this, though, because they tried it last year. Sheldon Keefe wasn't a fan of it. The argument against it is pretty simple, and it goes that Nylander has had so much success at right wing, which is absolutely true, that why change it? Why would you change something that he has so much success over? And the reason is because the Leafs need a center, right? It's really that simple. I don't know exactly which way the Leafs are going to go with this one. Jonas Siegel of The Athletic is convinced that they are going to do it again. Because think about it, Berube is the coach now. Brad Trevling absolutely wants to go ahead and do it, and Sheldon Keefe is gone, so the door is open to give this a true test. I don't know if this will work, and it's very simple. I think it's because it's going to make Nylander's offense struggle. Whenever I've watched the Maple Leafs and I watch Nylander go to center, to me his offensive spark really struggles. Like, he doesn't push for offense nearly like he should, because you have more defensive responsibilities, and it is true to me that Nylander is best at wing. Now, let's say Nylander can score an average of about 90 points at wing, and let's say if he plays center, he scores like 75 or 80, so he gets a little bit less offense, but he provides decent play down the middle. What would you do in that situation? I'm not sure. I think I would give it a try too, because you might say, well, maybe he's best at the wing, but the Leafs are just so desperate for a center. I'm just really nervous that they're playing David Kampf on the third line. This is something that I pointed to for a long time, where they have just an absolute lack of depth down the middle, and this is going to cause issues. A lot of people try to talk about their left wing slot, which is correct, right? Their left wing slot doesn't there's Matthew Nyes, Bobby McMahon, Robertson, Max Pacioretty, I suppose now too. But I think center is their biggest weakness, in my opinion, because yes, you have Matthews, Tavares is aging. I think they've done a pretty good job building out their blue line, which is fantastic. But if you don't have center depth in the NHL, you are screwed. I mean, it's just a fact. Now, it isn't just the Maple Leafs that have wanted this, right? William Nylander has played his entire career, I believe when he was younger, at the center position. So he's always wanted to play center in the National Hockey League, but the thing is, once you get to the NHL, it's much harder to play center, right? Like, so just because you have a guy that really wants to play center, it doesn't mean he can. It's one of the harder, I think it's one of the harder positions, that and defense, to play in the NHL. Like, you essentially have to be a third forward coming back down low to help defensively. I mean, that will absolutely make Nylander struggle more offensively than he would. And then in that regard, do you think both Nylander can do that? And then do you think Nylander is the best capable of doing that? That's the question here. I just don't understand why they just don't go out and get a decent third line center. Clear some cap space. Ryan Reeves, David Kampf, who's a fourth line center. Put Pontus Holmberg on the fourth line, and then just get an actual real third line center. Is that so hard to do? This is what pisses me off. Like, I would much prefer a real third line center because I don't want William Nylander's offense to struggle. This is where I'm at with this. I just don't want his offense to struggle, and I want players to be put in the best position, especially because when the Leafs get to the playoffs, they literally can hardly score. Do you want one of our best scorers to not be playing in his best position to succeed? Really? I mean, I don't think that makes sense to me. So I'm going to vote no on this. I think it's going to be a short thing. I think Craig Berube is a really good coach, and he's going to see that this is not going to work, in my opinion anyway. So my vote is no on this. But either way, I'm going to leave the video there. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, I really do appreciate if you made it to the end. Tell me why I'm wrong and tell me why I'm right as well. And have a great day, guys. Bye.